All right, it's 11:30, so we have prepared a really great opportunity to share with you what Forward Janesville has been working on. Some of you have commented to us that you've seen some of our content, but we thought it would be just a great opportunity for us to explain to you what we're doing, why we're doing, and what it means to our community. So the title of our education initiative this fall is Keep Kids Learning, and Claire and I will deliver the content to you. So it should be just a half hour and we'll go ahead and get started. First off, we have some exciting dates that are available on the calendar. And the first one is a Business After 5, which is today. And we get to celebrate at a Glow Spa and Mainstream Boutique, 5 to 7. The second opportunity is October 16th from 7:30 to 9, where you're going to learn more about the Craftsman with Character program with Breakfast at BMO, and it's going to be at the Boys and Girls Club of Janesville. And one of our most important events of the year is our annual dinner on November 12th, which is a Tuesday night at 5:30. And this year we are very honored to have Fred Smith, who's the founder of FedEx Corporation, is going to be here in Janesville. So that's a top 100 CEO right here in Janesville, Wisconsin at the Holiday Inn Express. Megan assures me we have some gold sponsorships available, which if you want to have the VIP opportunity, the gold table is that opportunity that you're looking for. She has a few corporate tables and a few individual spots, but the gold opportunity is where you would be able to join that VIP event. And really important is on November 5th, we do not want you to forget to vote. And we're going to talk about voting today, but go to your polls and make sure that you can vote on November 5th. So when we take a look at topics and initiatives and important things in the community, one of the things that we always look at first is our growth wheel. And when we talk about this particular issue, we look at economic development and we're looking at workforce and education assistance. So this topic touches two parts of our growth wheel. So we knew that it was something that we needed to support, and we did bring this to our board as well as the executive and the Government Relations Committee to discuss the topic.
And as Shar said, education is something that's incredibly important to what we do here at Forward Janesville. We're the Janesville Area's Chamber of Commerce, but we're also a leading private economic development organization. And being involved in education supports both of those areas. Our four pillars are building strategic partnerships, which we do in the primary, secondary, and post-secondary educational areas with our K through 12 schools and our higher learning institutions like Blackhawk Technical College, University of Wisconsin at Whitewater, and UW Whitewater at Rock County. We expand work-based learning opportunities. Shar is going to talk to you about our Craftsman with Character partnership with the School District of Janesville. But we also worked closely with private partners and the School District of Janesville to launch the Janesville Business Hub in downtown Janesville, which houses the Janesville Business Academy. Again, these are fantastic opportunities for our students, and another reason why we're engaged on education and talking about referendums today. Championing lifelong learning. Learning isn't just about when you're in school. It starts ahead of time, it starts before that, and it continues long after that. So we are great advocates of both K through 12 schools, but also early learning initiatives like the Janesville Early Learning Initiative, and also the State Line Community Foundation's Early Learning Initiative. And we're partnering with the Children's Museum of Rock County to launch that early learning area. And then also partnering with the Leadership Development Academy and organizations like Join Janesville to continue those professional development opportunities. But what really, where the rubber meets the road in terms of referendums is securing accountable funding for our education systems, specifically through K through 12. There's a challenging funding environment at the state level. And that's why our Government Relations Council identified school district referendums as a policy priority area, and then why they elevated up to our board of directors, and why both councils and committees support the operational and capital referendums at the Janesville and Milton school districts. So that's where we really come in as Forward Janesville. We launched this initiative called Keep Kids Learning, and that is all about communicating the importance of our schools to our community and helping people make informed decisions. So we're doing this because strong schools prepare the future workforce. They help recruit and retain employees at local businesses. They help recruit and retain quality educators in our schools. They're major local employers. They support local businesses. They support GDP growth in the local economy. They contribute to higher property values, and they keep crime rates low. And our Keep Kids Learning initiative is a mixture of public speaking events. We were on WCLO. Shar and Dave Holterman were on WCLO last week. Shar is getting out to many local service clubs. We'll also be having some pieces in the Gazette to really elevate our community's understanding of this issue. We also have member communications like Public Policy Digest and this all-member call today. And then we're doing our Break Fast with BMO event next week, which is an in-person event. And then, of course, we have our Advocate Toolkits, which we launched earlier this week, and we'll talk about later in the presentation. But just a quick overview of why we're talking about this and why the state funding situation is challenging. Schools are funded by a mixture of state aid and local property taxes. And the local property taxes are capped. There's a revenue limit at the state that caps the student spending, the school spending per student. And that was capped in the 1990s. And then the state aid was supplemental to school revenues and funding. And that was always keeping up with inflation. Well, it was decoupled from inflation in 2009. And that has really created a real challenging situation for our schools. So that while the revenue limits are a problem, the decoupling of state aid from inflation caused massive deficits. So in terms of Janesville is asking for an operating referendum, 2-year, non-recurring $14.5 million referendum, which was an extension of what was approved in 2020, and a $150 million operating capital referendum to initiate phase 1 of the facilities plan. How much will it cost me? There's no new tax impact for the operating referendum. Taxpayers will continue to pay what they have been paying. The capital referendum will be $81 for every $100,000 of property value. And for a $300,000 home, that means about $243,000 a year, about $20 per month, starting in the 25 to 26 school year. For Milton is asking for an operational referendum, a $5 million recurring operational referendum. And the tax impact for that would be $42 for $100,000 of property value. For a $250,000 home, that equals about $105,000 a year, or about $875 a month, which starts in the 26 to 27 school year. A recurring referendum means that it will go on every year, but the costs in years 2 and 3 are expected to decrease. And also the tax levy will be reviewed annually by the Milton School Board.
So what is at risk if we don't pass this referendum? So schools are required to teach math, English, science, and social studies. But what they're not required to support would be advanced placement and college preparatory classes. We certainly want our students to go to college and be ready to take on those challenging topics, especially math, science, and advanced learning opportunities. Technical skills. So one of the things that was brought up is right now we have a couple welding classes that offer our students the opportunity to get exposure to welding. If the referendum doesn't pass, that could be reduced, which is a direct impact to our local economy. And music and art. Music and art are so important because they help our brains learn in new ways. And I can tell you there's a direct correlation, obviously, between music and math learning skills. So music and art are fundamental and very important classes. Claire's going to talk about teachers.
Yeah, teachers are kind of one of the top school-related factors that impact student performance. An American Economic Review study suggests that teachers matter most. And when we're talking about those operational referendums, we're really talking about teachers. So supporting the operational referendums really support teachers, and that directly impacts student outcomes. It's also really important to support local schools and the referendums, because strong school districts attract and retain employees. We hear this a lot from our business community about attracting employees for those professional positions. 26% of home buyers, according to the National Association of Realtors, consider school quality as important to their buying decision, but 42% of a crucial demographic of growing professionals, which are ages 31 to 41, are strongly influenced by school quality. So to make sure that our employers, as the Chamber of Commerce, we're very focused on our employers and our local business community. To make sure we can attract that talent, we need to make sure we have strong schools.
Obviously, schools represent our local workforce, but the numbers might surprise you. The school district of Janesville is the ninth largest employer, or second largest employer in Rock County, with 1,550 people. 88% of those teachers live in Rock County and 71% reside in Janesville. In Milton, it's the 14th largest employer in Rock County. 87% of them live in Rock County. So the economic impact of each household is tremendous. They live and work in Rock County. They're buying goods and services here. They're remodeling their houses. They are consumers of our direct economy. So there's job spillover. The capital referendum certainly will have a direct impact on our local economy with the repairs that are needed. So if we don't support the referendum, losing all those jobs in our community would cause our economy to suffer. One of the programs that we promised to tell you a little bit more about is Craftsmen with Character, and here are some partner sites that work with Craftsmen with Character. It's a very unique program that was started right in Edgerton, Wisconsin, but is now available in our Janesville School District. And these students have the opportunity to meet professionals at these companies, observe work that occurs in these companies, and they're there for a couple weeks. So they really get to learn more about the occupation, ask questions, and learn what they like, but they also get the opportunity to learn what they might not like to go into, which is equally as valuable. Our local youth apprentice programs number in the about 13 programs, as well as 6 career technical student organizations. So our schools are helping to prepare our students for the workforce. We want them to be workforce ready.
And also, property values are higher in districts with good schools. Zooming out on the community impact, it's important to have good schools so we have a thriving economy and a thriving community. Crime rates are also typically lower in schools with strong school performance. Students from well-funded schools are 15% less likely to be arrested by age 30. That's partly because there's been a spark of lifelong learning ignited in them, and also because they've been exposed to so many different opportunities and ways to improve themselves and options for their future. Right now, Janesville and Milton have extremely low crime rates. Janesville's is at the lowest it's been in about 20 years, and we want to make sure to maintain those low crime rates and show students what their future can be. And as we mentioned, teachers are that key factor. 80% of the school budget is people, and parents are going to expect the same outcomes, whether that class size is 23 or 38. And so when you're looking at these operational referendums, that's really people and that's really teachers. It's additionally other people, other school support staff. But if we're going to be cutting teachers in those operational budgets, you're going to have larger class sizes, which is correlated to less strong learning outcomes. Smaller class sizes are research correlated to better student learning because students have more individual attention. And the cost of no is that student outcomes will suffer, but teachers will also have to go elsewhere. They will find other positions. When Fort Atkinson didn't approve its operational referendum, they cut 45 jobs. Evansville just had a failed $2.1 million referendum. They cut 10 jobs on top of opportunities for students.
So what's going to happen if the school district's operational referendum does not pass? The operational referendum, if it's not going to pass, will mean program cuts, staff reductions, and certainly larger class sizes. 80% of the operational budget is going towards staff. So this could be over 150 staff members who would be cut as a result of this failure. The average age of a school in Janesville is 63 years old. And I'm sure that was shocking. It was a little bit shocking to me, but there's kind of 3 buckets of priority here. This is a long-range plan, but the first part of this plan is high priority capital maintenance needs, safety and security for our students as well as our teachers. And then very importantly, our special educational classrooms. The students right now are learning in environments that are not created for special education. So teachers have to overcome physical as well as training barriers to help students learn. This is a chart which will show you the improvements that are slated for each school in our district. And you can see they are mechanical system upgrades, electrical upgrades, safety, plumbing, roof issues, as well as exterior enclosure improvements. So you can look at this list and easily identify these are things that are tied to performance. It was brought to my attention that as students are in a too hot or too cold environment, their learning capacity diminishes greatly. So getting these things taken care of for our students is really important to learning outcomes. So what happens if the Milton referendum does not pass? That will be staff cuts, reductions, and larger class sizes. 70 to 75% of their operating budget is staff. So they would have limited extracurricular activities. They could delay or ignore previous maintenance that they were working on, closing buildings, collapsing roles, responsibilities, wage freezes, benefit plan redesign, and reduction in controllable costs or budgets. And moreover, if you're a teacher where your school is looking at making these cuts, you might be looking at other occupations rather than working with students. So what are we asking you to do? We've prepared a toolkit with Hadley PR, and it's absolutely fantastic, and it has all the resources in it that we've covered today in an easy conversational way for you to take this out into the community. There are conversation starters, fun fact sheets, actual scripts, so you don't have to figure out what to say. We'll help you with that. There's flyers, social media tips, and ways to advocate, as well as some resources. So today we are asking you to become an advocate. 15 social posts or shares on social media, which can be either forward Janesville content, the school district content, but content as you share it out on social media that's helping to educate the community about what this referendum is, that there is a referendum, because as we're finding that many individuals in the community don't know that there's a referendum pending, writing a letter to the editor, attending and speaking at local meetings. But if you're uncomfortable with that, please reach out and we will send someone from Forward Janesville to speak at your community event. If you have a group of friends, most all of us have 5 or 6 friends, start a conversation with them. Print the toolkit out, or just we'll show you how to get access to it digitally, and you can have a conversation with some friends so that you can talk about what this would mean for our community. Claire's going to show you how easy it is to find.
Yep, so you can just go to our website, www.forwardjanesville.com. It's the first thing under our workforce development and education menu. And then you'll have all of the tools that you need. You learn a little bit more about Keep Kids Learning, and then you can click to download the Janesville Toolkit and the Milton Toolkit.
So 3 easy steps. We have to break this down. Like, what are we truly asking you to do? Like and share Forward Janesville's posts on Facebook. Like and share Forward Janesville's posts on LinkedIn. If you do those 2 simple steps, you'll really help to get the word out. We've got about 10 to 12 people on the call today. If everyone does 15 of those, that's a big conversation starter. You can grab the Advocate Toolkit and share it with your personal and professional circles. Something that's very important in Janesville schools is that that question is on the back of the ballot. So as you're filling your ballot out swiftly, please remember to pause and turn your ballot over so that you can participate on November 5th. We have a couple additional opportunities coming up. The first one is Break Fast with BMO. Again, reach out to Megan, myself, or Claire to get on that list and we will get you signed up. And then there is an informational meeting which will be held on October 16th at Washington Elementary School by the Janesville School District at 10 a.m. So thank you so much. Claire, it looks like we might have a couple questions if we want to go ahead and
Yes.
address those.
Yes. Okay, so one of them is interested in a sign. Like what? So we are not the Vote Yes group, but there have been Vote Yes groups organized both in Janesville and Milton. So if people are looking to get a sign from one of those groups, Char, how would they get a sign?
Yeah, so Dave Holderman and Oakley are the contacts for that, and their contact information is available in the toolkit. The Milton Vote Yes Facebook page is live and active, so you can connect through that Facebook group. And I know the Janesville one is looking to get online very soon as well. So there's some additional. Mary Jo also chimed in and said you could contact Mary Jo, and we can share out her phone number.
Awesome. Oh, my lights went off. We had another question about, just how confusing funding is. And people are wondering about like, how do you start that conversation on funding when it seems really complicated?
Starting the conversation is easy. Okay, Mary Jo corrected that the Facebook is also live. So thank you, Mary Jo. And I guess she wants me to give you her phone number, which is 608-774-9062. So that's available. Getting the information is downloading the toolkit and starting that conversation.
Okay. And then the last question that we have, the Janesville Facebook is Janesville for Kids. For Milton, it's Vote Yes for Kids, Milton. The last question is about, I live in Janesville, but I'm in the Milton School District. Do I pay for both referendums?
Great question. And you would not. So you can go to My Vote Wisconsin to find out which school district that you're in if you're confused about that. But you would either be in the Milton School District or the Janesville School District. You wouldn't be in both with your Janesville address. That's a great question. I think we got through the questions, Claire. If you want to toggle over and show people how they can download the toolkit, because if you've never used a toolkit before, that might be confusing and you might be questioning, how do I get a toolkit? How do I download it? And so Claire's going to roll us through the opportunity and what that does look like. It's pretty simple.
Yep. So you would just come here we'll go to our homepage right here for Janesville.com, Workforce Development and Education, Keep Kids Learning. Click that. This is our Keep Kids Learning page with details about why we're involved in education and also the specific Keep Kids Learning campaign. And right on the right-hand side, you can download the Janesville Toolkit, or you can come here and download the Milton Toolkit. We'll take a look at Milton's. And as we noted, this is packed with resources. It's got a great introduction to kind of give you an idea of why For Janesville is involved with this. A great table of contents of what's in the toolkit. Also, these are conversation starters, but they're also really frequently asked questions. So these are great things for you to know and that really break it down in an easily digestible format. Each toolkit has specific school district materials in it, flyers that you can share, and these are the school district's materials themselves. So you can really hear how they're messaging about it. We have business leader outreach scripts, community member booster parent group scripts so that you can touch base with different audiences. Additional information on the referendums. Online conversations, this is huge because online social media platforms are a primary source of information for things like this and for election information for a lot of people. So starting conversations and contributing to constructive conversations is really helpful. As Shar mentioned, Lindsay from Hadley PR put in a great challenge here of lead 15 to social media interactions or like and share our posts. There are also some great content for posts if you want to create your own post. Also, submitting letters to the editor is a great way to activate community voices in both toolkits. There's specific information of how to do that in your community, getting organized, request a presentation, and yard sign information. There's also just some additional resources at the back of each about the individual referendums, but also about school funding in general.
Well, that's all we had for you today. We really appreciate you all taking the time, and hopefully you learned how you could lean into this a little bit more and share the message. And if you found this to be valuable, we'll certainly offer opportunities in the future around complicated topics, because this is certainly a difficult and complicated topic. So we are finishing 5 minutes early. So we appreciate you joining us today. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.